Hello and welcome to another episode of Other Items of Interest. I'm your host, Jack Zablocki. This week, hats for pigeons, trial by combat, and a calcified testicle. Enjoy. Hello and welcome to another episode of Other Items of Interest. I'm your host, Jack Zablocki. I just started a load of laundry. Let's see if I can get through this podcast before it's done. You know, I was just looking at Twitter and I saw that it is Squirrel Appreciation Day. I did not know there was such a thing, but now that I've been clued in, I can just ignore it and not celebrate it. But I found it interesting. We actually have a squirrel story this week about a squirrel terrorizing a neighborhood. Last week, we had a story about a squirrel getting into someone's house while they were on vacation and destroying the entire house. It was trapped in there for like a week or two. We've had other squirrel stories. Usually they're not positive. We had one squirrel story. I believe the squirrel was hooked on meth. I don't remember the details of the story exactly, but some guy had a squirrel, an attack squirrel, that was supposedly hooked on meth. So when you're celebrating Squirrel Appreciation Day, keep these stories in mind. Squirrels are not our friends. They're just not. I do like Squirrel Girl from the Marvel Universe. That's an okay squirrel. Other than that, forget about it. Don't need it. With that having been said, you can check us out online at otheritemsofinterest.com. You can email us your thoughts on squirrels at otheritemsofinterestpod@gmail.com. You could visit us on Instagram at otheritemspod and on Twitter at otheritem. Haven't really been using the social media lately. Absolutely bored with it. Don't like it. I've mentioned this before during shows. So, I mean, I check it out every once in a while, but I don't really use it. With that having been said, let's get on with the show, shall we? I think we shall. And this is how we're starting out from UPI.com. Pigeon spotted in Nevada wearing tiny sombrero. I guess this has been a thing, putting little hats on pigeons. I think it started in Las Vegas with cowboy hats. And now this. Officials in a Nevada city said they are trying to find and rescue a pigeon seen wandering around with a sombrero apparently glued to its head. Reno City Manager Sabra Newby tweeted photos she snapped of the sombrero-wearing pigeon while she was on a ride-along with city parking enforcement officers. Washoe County Animal Services said it was trying to track down the pigeon so that the hat can be safely removed. 2 pigeons were recently spotted in Las Vegas with cowboy hats glued to their heads. One of the pigeons was captured by officials but later died. While quirky or fun, it's still inhumane, Newby told KOLO TV. The birds suffered when this exact thing happened last year in Las Vegas. One of them recently died. We don't want copycats. It's an interesting hobby, attaching little hats to pigeons. I don't know if these are store-bought hats or these people are creating the hats in their free time as an arts and crafts special activity, but it's odd. I'll give it that. Putting little hats, gluing, no less, hats on pigeons. Should probably stop that. Okay, let's move on. You like sword combat? We've got sword combat from theguardian.com. Man requests sword fight with ex-wife and lawyer to settle legal dispute. David Ostrom, 40, of Paola, Kansas, asked judge for trial by combat in 12 weeks, so he has time to secure Japanese samurai swords. Okay, a Kansas man has asked an Iowa judge to let him engage in a sword fight with his ex-wife and her attorney in a trial by combat that will settle their ongoing legal dispute. David Ostrom, 40, of Paola, Kansas, said in a January 3rd court filing that his former wife, Bridget Ostrom, 38, of Harlan, Iowa, and her attorney, Matthew Hudson, had, quote-unquote, destroyed him legally. The judge had the power to let the parties resolve our disputes on the field of battle legally, David Ostrom said, adding in his filing that trial by combat has never been explicitly banned or restricted as a right in these United States. He also asked the judge for 12 weeks' time so he could secure Japanese samurai swords. Why it takes 12 weeks to get a hold of samurai swords, I do not know. Article does not say. The Ostroms have been embroiled in disputes over custody and visitation issues and property tax payments. His motion filed in Shelby County District Court stemmed from his frustrations with his ex-wife's attorney, Ostrom told the Des Moines Register. I think I've met Mr. Hudson's absurdity with my own absurdity, Ostrom said, adding that his former wife could choose Hudson to act as her champion. Hudson argued in his legal response that because a duel could end in death, such ramifications likely outweigh those of property tax and custody issues. Hudson asked the judge to reject the quest for trial by combat. Judge Craig Dreismeyer said in his own filing Monday that he won't be issuing a decision anytime soon, citing irregularities with both sides' motions and responses. Until the proper procedural steps to initiate a court proceeding are followed, this court will take no further action concerning any motion, objection, or petition filed by either party at this time, the judge said. So we'll have to wait for that trial by combat as the judge decides. I wouldn't hold out hope. From kptv.com, oh, what a wicked world. Portland bike theft task force officer has bike stolen. It's discouraging that we've reached this level. Yes, it is. A Portland bike theft task force officer had his own bicycle stolen. Officer Dave Sanders is the first to acknowledge the irony. He has been working for years to prevent bike thefts across Portland, but on Thursday, someone took his bike parked in front of the Multnomah County Courthouse. Sanders said he was running late for grand jury and left his U-lock at the office, so he secured his police bike to the rack with a pair of handcuffs. When he came back out, the bike was gone and the cuffs were left dangling from the rack. I don't know what's more disconcerting, the fact that the officer had his bike stolen or that handcuffs were that easy to break into. At first, Sanders thought it was a prank pulled off by another officer, but then he checked the surveillance video and realized it was really stolen. It's discouraging that we've reached this level that somebody feels so empowered that they can get away with it, that they'll try something like this. That's discouraging that our bike theft problem is that bad. But it also motivates me. It's kind of a motivator to say, hey, let's do more. Let's see what we can do better to prevent this from happening, Sanders told Fox 12. The police bike was registered. It's a 2016 blue Marin Nail Trail mountain bike with a serial number I'm not going to read out because nobody cares. Sanders said only 1 in 10 stolen bikes are recovered in Portland, but having it registered doubles those chances. Sanders recommends people use a U-lock and secure the frame to the bike rack. It's funny, but it's a little sad too, to be honest. Listen up. Deaf man sues Pornhub over lack of closed captions. From abcnews.go.com. A deaf man has sued Pornhub and other pornographic websites because he said he cannot enjoy video content without closed captioning. Yaroslav Shuris, a New York resident, tried to watch videos on Pornhub entitled Hot Step Aunt Babysits Disobedient... I cannot get through this. Entitled Hot Step Aunt Babysits Disobedient Nephew, Sexy Cop Gets Witness to Talk, and others in October 2019 and January 2020, but he could not due to the website's lack of closed captioning, according to the lawsuit filed Thursday in the Eastern District of New York. A little typo there in the article threw me way off. This article is not going well already. The lawsuit alleges that Pornhub, RedTube, and YouPorn are in violation of the 1990 Americans with Disabilities Act. Part of the ADA's goal is to provide full and equal enjoyment of a public accommodation's goods, services, facilities, and privileges, according to the lawsuit. Websites that prevent accessibility to deaf and hard of hearing individuals is a discriminatory act, the lawsuit reads. The ADA cites that its purpose is to make sure that people with disabilities have the same rights and opportunities as everyone else. Pornhub's Vice President Corey Price disputed the claim that the website doesn't offer closed captions. While we do not generally comment on active lawsuits, we'd like to take this opportunity to point out that we do have a closed captions category, according to a statement from Price provided to ABC News. The statement included a link to its closed captions section, which they do not provide here, but a trip to Pornhub, I'm sure you can find it. Shurus has previously sued Fox News, the New York Post, and other outlets alleging similar ADA violations on their websites. He is seeking compensatory damages, civil penalties, and fines against Pornhub. Of course he is. It seems a little ridiculous. I'm all for closed captioning. I'm a proponent of closed captioning. There, I said it. I'll take a firm stance, but this seems a little bit ridiculous. Just a little. And here's our squirrel story for Squirrel Appreciation Day from fox5vegas.com, KVVU TV. Squirrel terrorizing neighborhood sends 2 mothers to hospital. You've heard of angry birds, snakes on a plane. How about an angry squirrel biting on your front porch? We're talking blood-curdling attacks that have left a neighborhood in Cypress, Texas on edge. We usually don't go outside in the daytime because he comes out in the daytime, said resident Charlene French Amazikita. No idea if I'm saying her hyphenated last name correctly. So be it. She said the squirrel started off friendly and playful, but for some reason in the past few weeks, it's become imposing and aggressive. It even bit 2 moms in the Bridgeland Shores neighborhood. French Amazikita said it attacked her after she tried to stop the animal from chewing up her front door. When I stepped outside the door, he leaped on me and bit my arm. I pulled him off, threw him to the ground, and tried to get in the house. She said, I couldn't get in the house because he came back. He bit this leg. She has the stitches and bite marks to prove it. The squirrel also attacked Katie Herrera. It's scary, Herrera said. I'm just very grateful that it actually attacked me and not my children. Family said the ordeal may sound amusing to some, but this one small animal has them on constant edge. They're hoping the squirrel gets trapped soon and things can go back to normal. We love animals here in the neighborhood, and my family loves animals, and we help animal shelters, Daniel Amazikita said, but it's kind of scary to see a squirrel that really jumps on you and attacks you that badly. Residents said they've contacted both Animal Control and Texas Parks and Wildlife. They said they were told the animal can't be moved until it is trapped. Well then, Animal Control or Texas Park and Wildlife, trap the squirrel. Then you move it. Then nobody gets attacked. Unless there are other squirrels in the neighborhood that are vindictive and you took their squirrel friend away and they get angry and act out. I don't know how squirrels think. I really don't. I don't appreciate them. I'm against this Squirrel Appreciation Day. It's unnecessary. I'll just ignore it from here on out. This following story comes from Newsweek.com. Chemical plant explosion launches metal plate into air, killing man 2 miles away. What a way to go. An explosion at a chemical factory in the independent Spanish region of Catalonia was so powerful that it flung a 1-ton steel plate 2 miles, where it crashed into an apartment building, killing one resident. The BBC reported that the explosion happened on Tuesday at the IQOXE plant in Tarragona. I don't know if I'm supposed to pronounce IQOXE. It's all in capital letters. I don't know how to pronounce that if I'm supposed to, so I'll just read out the letters. The facility was used to produce ethylene oxide, an extremely flammable organic compound that is used as a surface disinfectant in hospitals as well in their production of cosmetics, lubricants, paint thinners, and other products. The plant also produced propylene oxide, which is very flammable as well. And there is a picture on the website, on the Newsweek website, of the explosion. It is quite something to look at. You can check all the links of the stories we cover in our show notes at www.otheritemsofinterest.com if you so choose to. The factory was one of several facilities in the La Cañona petrochemical park. The first explosion happened at approximately 6:40 p.m. and it was followed by a second blast that is believed to be at an electrical transformer. After the explosion, a massive fire broke out, which firefighters worked through the night to douse. And there's more. There's another picture of the destruction of the plant. Just a huge mess. El País reported that the man, who has been identified only as Sergio, was crushed when the steel plate flew into the apartment above his, causing the structure to collapse on him. Firefighters said that the plate was in all probability a reactor lid from the plant. Residents of the Plaza Garcia Lorca housing estate that was hit told reporters that they saw a ball of fire arc across the sky from the exploding plant before it hit the building. A search team discovered that's got to be the worst feeling. You just see a big ball of fire in the sky and it's coming right at you. A search team discovered the body of a second victim, a senior staffer at the plant, early Wednesday morning. Several other victims were hospitalized with severe burns. After the explosion, municipal authorities in 7 adjoining areas issued a warning to residents to remain inside. Not that you're any safer inside. I mean, the guy was inside when he was killed by the metal that flew through the sky and crushed him. But chemical contamination protocols were not activated. Rail service was also canceled and roads were closed on Tuesday until the danger was cleared. According to the BBC, Catalan President Quim Torra visited the scene while the fire was being contained. He told reporters, "Now we can send a message of calm and confidence to the people. There is no toxicity, and therefore people can carry on with their lives as normal." In 2004, a similar explosion at an ethylene oxide plant operated by Sterigenics in Ontario, California. A chamber containing 100 pounds of the gas detonated, launching a 2-ton metal door 75 feet and injuring 4 workers. An even larger explosion occurred at the Olin Matheson Chemical Corp plant in Brandenburg, Kentucky in 1962. UPI reported the blast injured at least 30 employees and shattered windows in homes and stores 3 miles away. And, of course, not mentioned by the article, is Chernobyl. That was a big clusterfuck. Anywho, let's move on. The good old whoopee cushion, a tried and true testament to comedy expression. In this case, pissed some people off. From theguardian.com, whoopee cushion disrupts final before Stuart Bingham wins Masters snooker. Anybody out there a snooker fan? Didn't think so. Stuart Bingham won the Masters 10-8, but one of his biggest days in the snooker calendar was briefly disrupted by an electronic whoopee cushion in the crowd. Play momentarily stopped at Alexandra Palace. Looks like someone has planted a whoopee cushion inside the arena and it keeps going off, making a poop sound. That is poop with multiple O's. Crowd laugh, Bingham not happy, tweeted BBC journalist Shamoun Hafez. The match between Ali Carter and Bingham was briefly halted early in the fifth frame, with referee Brendan Moore asking somebody in the crowd to stop that now, please. Moore and Bingham sought out the perpetrator, who was quickly removed from the venue, but not before a number of fart noises had caused much mirth inside Alexandra Palace. I think it could be someone with a whoopee cushion, Dennis Taylor said on the BBC's commentary. Not very funny at all. I beg to differ. Bingham did not see the funny side either, with Moore saying that the noises were the same thing as the other day. A YouTube prank site has claimed responsibility for planting a fart box in the Alexandra Palace crowd earlier this week. The 2015 world champion didn't let the incident put him off his stride, and after trailing 7-5, he won 4 frames in a row and sealed victory with his first century of the tournament. Fantastic. I would like to take this time out to mention briefly that it is raining very hard outside. You might hear some noises behind my voice. That is just the rain. Nothing I can do about it. I do apologize. And I would also like the time to say this next story is maddening. From WMTW.com. Student's rainbow shirt and cake, a lifestyle violation. School expels her after seeing picture. A 9th grade girl says her Kentucky private school expelled her for lifestyle violations, including a photo of her wearing a rainbow shirt and sitting in front of a rainbow birthday cake. That's all she was doing. She had a rainbow shirt on and a rainbow birthday cake. Okay, let's just get that clear. That's how maddening it is. Kayla Kenny, 15, smiled in a rainbow t-shirt and blew out candles on her rainbow birthday cake as her mother, Kimberly Alford, took a photo to post to her social media. She was happy. She looked beautiful, Alford recalled in an interview with WAVE. You know, of course, as a mom, I took her picture of her blowing out her candles and I posted that on my Facebook page. The photo was shared with staff at Kayla's private school, Whitefield Academy. In the following days, Kayla would be contacted by the school head, Dr. Bruce Jacobson, asshole, and subsequently expelled. It was an email expelling Kayla from Whitefield immediately due to a post on social media, Alfred said. I feel judged. She feels judged. Very just devastating for us. Whitefield Academy claimed the rainbow photo was the most recent of 2 years' worth of what they call lifestyle violations. For the school, the picture was the last straw. In the email to Kayla, Jacobson said the picture demonstrates a posture of morality and cultural acceptance contrary to that of Whitefield Academy's beliefs. Holy shit. The school code of conduct addresses sexual orientation, saying the school will discipline off-campus behavior if it isn't in line with the school's beliefs. Alford filed an appeal, and while she said the school refused to meet with her, they agreed to change the expulsion to a voluntary withdrawal so that it will not show on Kayla's record. How compassionate. However, Alford worries how this expulsion will affect her daughter. You know, we teach our kids, what would Jesus do? Alfred said. What would he do here? There's no answer to that. That's where the article ends. Sorry to say. But, yeah, that private school can go get fucked. Feels like we haven't had a really good medical anomaly story in a while, caused by parasites. It seemed like we were doing one every week, some kind of parasitic story from either China or somewhere in Asia, India. So here we go. Yay. From canoe.com. Ball of steel. Parasitic worm infection caused Indian man's swollen, calcified testicle. All right, here we go. An Indian man whose testicle was swollen and calcified thought the condition was caused by a urinary tract infection. He wishes. But when the 80-year-old man sought medical attention of his enlarged manhood, he learned that he suffered from a rare infection caused by parasitic worms. In a case report logged in the British Medical Journal, doctors diagnosed the unnamed man with lymphatic filariasis, a condition that caused a fluid-filled sac to swell up and form around his testicle. The swollen member then began to calcify, according to Live Science. The swelling, known as a hydrocele, is typically formed after an infection or injury. In this scenario, it was caused by parasitic worms. No, thank you. Do not want parasitic worms in my testicles. According to the British Medical Journal, people can be infected with filarial worms via an infected mosquito bite. The parasite then grows into a... Can we just eradicate mosquitoes already? They do nothing for anybody. They're not even like part of the food chain, as far as I know. The parasite then grows into adult worms once in a person's lymphatic vessels, which can cause swelling and severe damage. The medical case noted filarial worms are endemic in India. The study's authors noted cases of calcification in the man's scrotum are rare, stating there was only one other published case in 1935. It's unknown how doctors treated the man's swollen and calcified injury, but the BMJ study noted patients with parasitic infections may be given anti-filarial drugs or have surgery to rid the infection. Yeah, I don't miss these stories, really, now that I think about it. I do like covering them. Makes me feel a little bit alive. But I think we can go on to the next story and just leave this where it is. And from a calcified testicle to space. U.S. Space Force mocked for unveiling camouflage uniforms, and mocked rightly so. From BBC.com. The force, officially launched by U.S. President Donald Trump last month, posted a picture of the uniforms to its Twitter account. The uniform in the picture has a woodland camouflage design with badges embroidered on the arm and chest. Reacting to the uniform, many critics had the same question. Camo in space? And really, what's the point? One Twitter user asked, have they never seen space before? Another illustrated the difference between space and camouflage, which is designed to help military personnel blend in with their surroundings. The force explained its rationale in a tweeted response. It said it was utilizing current Army Air Force uniforms and saving costs of designing, producing a new one and doing so. Hey, you want to save money? Don't start a fucking Space Force. Huh? Cracking idea. Members will look like their joint counterparts they'll be working with on the ground, the force added in the tweet. But the force may as well have been tweeting in a vacuum as the decision continued unabated. Flanked by U.S. troops, Mr. Trump officially launched the force at an Army base near Washington in December last year. Mr. Trump said the force would help the U.S. military deter aggression in what he called the world's newest war-fighting domain. All those space terrorists, space Nazis. Got to get them in line. But the new military service overseen by the U.S. Air Force is not intended to put troops into orbit. Rather, it will protect U.S. assets, such as the hundreds of satellites used for communication and surveillance. U.S. Air Force Secretary Barbara Barrett said the Space Force would comprise about 16,000 Air Force and civilian personnel. The Trump administration has allocated $40 million to fund the force in its first year. $40 million that could have gone to housing, loan debt, feed people. So much it could have done. But you got yourself a Space Force now. Hooray for that. You like going to the dentist? Of course not. Nobody does. What if your dentist used a hoverboard while extracting a tooth? Would you like it then? Most definitely not. From NBCnews.com, hoverboarding dentist found guilty of unlawful dental acts. An Anchorage dentist captured on video extracting the tooth of a sedated patient as he rode a hoverboard has been found guilty by a judge of 46 counts levied against him after the incident expanded into a wider probe of his practices. The Friday guilty findings against Seth Lookhart, 34, included counts of unlawful dental acts, reckless endangerment, and Medicaid fraud, according to NBC affiliate KTUU in Anchorage. And there is video on the NBC News website of the dentist working on his hoverboard. That's messed up. That's seriously, that is so risky. Oh my goodness. Among the allegations outlined in charging documents was the hoverboard incident in 2016. Seth Lookhart performed a dental extraction procedure on a sedated patient while riding a hoverboard and filmed the procedure and distributed the film to persons outside his dental practice. Citing phone records, investigators said the dentist texted the video to at least 8 people and described his actions as a new standard of care. Prosecutors said he sedated patients needlessly, then billed taxpayers $10,000 for the procedures. The patient in the video, Veronica Wilhelm, testified against Lookhart in December saying, "What you did was outrageous, narcissistic, and crazy." And she is right. His attorney, Paul Stockler, said in court, "I want you to know that as his lawyer, I apologize for what he did on that hoverboard." Wow. That's the first time we've had an attorney in a story do something positive. That's a nice change of pace, I'd say. The Alaska Dental Board suspended Lookhart's dental license, it says. That's it. Good. He's out of his dental practice. Where do you go after you're done being a dentist? And he's a young man. He's 34. Has his life in front of him. I'm not too concerned about him because he can't be working on people with his attitude. He just can't. I'm sorry. I don't know why I have so much invested in this. I don't like dentists. I don't like going to the dentist. My teeth are pretty good, so I don't have to go that often. I don't like to. That's just a horror show. The idea of a dentist working on your mouth on a hoverboard. Not good. And here we are, the last story of the show. We're going out on a happy, positive note this week. This is just an adorable story from newshub.co.nz. Stolen Northland therapy goat found, reunited with depressed cow. Isn't that sweet? Peaches, the goat, formed an unlikely friendship with a depressed pet cow belonging to the Maungaturito Hotel. That is such a hard word to pronounce. I can't barely get through it. I know it comes up again in the article, so I'll do my best. The cow named Bunter was left lonely after the death of a fellow cow some months earlier. In December, hotel caretaker Joe Robin told Magic Talk's Leah Panapa Peaches was introduced to Bunter in an effort to lift the cow's spirits. After Rosie passed away, Bunter got really depressed, and we heard that goats were good therapy, and there was a lady who was willing to gift Peaches to us, said Robin. As soon as Peaches arrived in the paddock, Bunter was a different cow running around everywhere. Bunter also started eating again after the arrival of the goat. However, the happy friendship was short-lived after Peaches was stolen. Who steals a goat? Come on. Really. On Tuesday, Robin told Panapa there was a happy ending with Peaches being spotted among a group of goats on a local property. One in particular was alone and was a lot whiter than the rest, said Robin. We watch a lot of crime and investigation, so we did our own investigating. She said local police looked into the matter and Peaches was soon on her way home to Bunter. Northland police issued a statement saying they had investigated a burglary at the hotel property after someone got the owner's goat. Police didn't kid around and goat hold of CCTV footage. Sorry, the puns just threw me off. Let me go through that again, if you'll allow me. Police didn't kid around and goat hold of the CCTV footage and spoke with a number of people, it read. As a result of this work, Peaches was located at a nearby property and was returned just before Christmas. Police said at this stage no further action was being taken, with Peaches' owner was happy with. Bunter, the cow, upset at the intrusion, is also understood to hold no beef, police said. And there's a picture of the happy goat. Meanwhile, Robin said they had been thinking the worst after Peaches disappeared, and it was a fantastic outcome. Everybody thought curry, she said. I have no idea what that statement means. Everybody thought curry. Is that a New Zealand thing that I don't understand? Because I really don't understand it. I don't know if it's another pun or what. Somebody email me, clue me in. Now reunited with her cow friend, steps have been taken to ensure the friendly goat doesn't disappear again, including reinforced and electrified fencing around the paddock. And there you have it. A happy outcome to a sweet, sweet story. Well, there we are at the end of our show for the week. I hope you enjoyed You can visit us online at www.otheritemsofinterest.com. You'd need the www, otherwise it just goes to nothing. You can email us at otheritemsofinterestpod@gmail.com. You can visit us online at Instagram at otheritemspod and on Twitter at otheritems. So what have we learned this week? Not much. Space Force uses camo in space. People are gluing hats to pigeons. Squirrels will be squirrels and terrorize people. Deaf man needs closed captioning for his porn. I don't know what else. Strange world out there. Keep on trucking. And with that, I'd like to say, cue the music. Welcome to the end of the show. That's right, you have reached the very end of the show. This is where we play a little musical ditty and say goodbye. With that, we will see you again next week. Hopefully, you'll come back and we'll do some more news stories and complain about them and joke about them and have a good old time. Until then, bye-bye, everybody.